Let's do a little more interesting scene. Let's do a new level. Let's give something with parallax. All right. So we're going to create a new sequencer up here in cinematics. This first one was called level sequencer, and it's something we just saved to our content browser. I'm going to use a default, and then it opens up. And yes, this is a timeline, guys. There it is. And we can add things from our scene. Like we can add any of these actors. And then we can create camera tracks and create audio tracks and that kind of stuff. So I'll put in the standard mesh. Let's see, base mesh. And I'll throw in the skeletal mesh. There we have it. And we'll come back to sequencer, which is found right there. And of course, it's going to be a pain in the butt to do this with one screen. There we go. And let's add that character. Okay, so here we go. There's a timeline. You can see it has a beginning, middle, and end, and all that kind of stuff. We can have auto keying if we want to, so everything we do will save as a keyframe, and we can make sure all the properties are keyframed together, like all the transforms, X, Y, and Z, all the rotations are done together. We're just going to do this broad strokes today just to show you what's possible, and then there's plenty of documentation. I mean, I just learned this 2 days ago. So this is new. It used to be called Matinee, which was also interesting. But so we have a female base mesh. We can move her around should we want to. We're going to choose an animation, and here's all the animations I've loaded up for her. These are different hip-hop dances. And now we have a scrubbable timeline to go through that animation. All right, so I'm just going to add another one. Did that add another person? That's funny. That's not what it's supposed to do. I'll undo that. We'll start again. Okay, just her. She has this animation now with a dancing twerk. So it actually goes from one to the other. So these have in and out points that can be dragged around and all that kind of stuff. And we're actually laying down tracks of animation. Just like any of your nonlinear editors, we can flip them around and do it in reverse. We can edit them by trimming them, splitting them, all that kind of stuff to come up with an actual definitive timeline should we be wanting to make some sort of opening sequence to a 1950s south of the border crime thriller, which I really want somebody to try to make it again. I think that'd be really amazing. So yeah, I'm just adding different animation tracks, and this is how we're blending it. This is great. It's a lot of fun, and I hope you guys can see that well enough. I'll speed in a little bit more. No, these are not blended for you. You see it pops.
Okay.
I'll show you that in 1 week, I think, how to do a blending. It's a little bit more time consuming. I wouldn't have time to do it today. Okay, so that's great. That is we have our figure, and our gal will show you how to do that actually in 2 weeks. So she's the master at it now. She jumped ahead. That's week 10 of last year, and she's already up on it. It's on YouTube. So how are we gonna? Thank you very much. I hope my jokes are topical enough. You know, maybe. That's why I'm staying away from politics this year. Okay, so now I'm going to go over here, and we're gonna do a couple of things. I'm gonna type in the word camera, and I'm gonna show you that we have 3 things we're gonna work with today. We have a camera rig crane, and I'm gonna throw this in here, guys. Don't laugh. It's actually a crane. This is. I told you we're gonna. This is awesome.
Camera rig crane.
Camera rig crane.
Wait,
This
so
is.
if I do rail, does it give me train?
And then camera rig rails is going to give you a dolly track.
That's great.
Okay, so these are people make rigs and things like Cinema 4D and Unreal all the time by parenting different objects to each other, and just adds a pivot point. But this has some great integrations into Sequencer that we'll see will make a great cinematic, and that's kind of the goal for today. So I have this guy, and I'm going to take what's called the Cine Camera Actor, also a new item, and I'm just going to throw it in there. And over here in the World Outliner, I'm going to attach it to that crane. You see it's now parented to the crane. And I can go now to the actor, and I can zero out all its position and rotation. And all its rotation. So this camera is now parented to this crane. Let's take a second to look at the camera first, actually, before we get too far. The camera has a lot of different settings we take a look at. It has different kind of film formats and focal lengths, and it can focus on, it can do depth of field and focus. Let's see real quick. But also, what's very easy for us to use is this first item called Look At. And I can actually choose which thing I want to keep it focused on. We're going to choose the actor in the scene. And so now, if I go back to the crane and I adjust this pitch and yaw of the crane, we'll watch this camera automatically focus on the center of the character. So it actually, if it was a really tight shot, it would actually wouldn't be the head, but it has an offset that you can take, do that kind of stuff with. So let's go back to our sequencer and throw these guys in there. I have both of them selected. I'm going to go back to the beginning. Oh, it actually already added the crane. I'm going to get rid of this and just kind of start from scratch real quick, just so you guys can see the whole process. So it automatically adds it, but let's just do it from scratch. I'm adding from these actors, and I want to add in at the very top. This is both of them selected together. So we have the camera. Actually, let's do that one more time. Just make sure I get it right. Both of these selected. Add my current selection, which is both together. So the actor has the camera actor has the things we were talking about before. You could change the focus, you could change the aperture, that kind of thing. But the crane has the good stuff, which is the pitch. And you can see right here, I can pin this so it's always open, and the yaw. All right. And that's Max jumping in to say hi. The which one? Which? Oh, there's a little tiny pin right here that you can pin the preview. So if I select something else, it's still the preview's still there. Okay. So now we're going to take a look at that camera and see what. So the look at thing, I think I shouldn't have zeroed out the 90. Maybe I should have. The look at, let me show you real quick, is on the crane controls themselves. Yeah, and maybe I need to do it while the crane's selected inside the sequencer. No, it was on the camera. Camera, and then the first current camera settings, you twirl that down. Enable look at, there it is, enable it, and then choose the thing. And there it is. So you see now that it's now focusing on the pivot point, the down area. I can go to the camera and zoom it out a little bit to give us a little bit of a breathing room. Lens settings, and that's focus. Look at tracking. No, okay. And focal, there we go. Zooming out, there we go, see a little bit more. That's fine. Okay, so let's just move forward like any other timeline. Where do we want to go to? Well, let's go to somewhere else. And the crane, we can also change the length of the boom. So we can come out, go up, around. Cool, we have a cool camera move. And it's looking at, look at it adjusting slowly, that's pretty cool. All right, so we have a camera move there. But if I hit play button, it's not going to show that. It's just like a default camera. Let me show you how to load it in. If I go back up here to the top and say add, I'm going to add a camera cut track. And this is very much like your nonlinear editor where you can do crossfades and add little tracks. I'm going to add a camera, and I'm going to add that cine camera actor. And now I have an actual timeline, and I can chop and edit this. And I can preview it in real time, either down here in the controls in the window, or up here by scrubbing. This used to be a lot more complicated. All right. Now, we're going to find Jesse's choo-choo train track. And let's do the same thing we did. Let's see if we can get rid of these pins now, unpin. Okay, and so let's unselect. On the first track, yeah, because right now this first track is reflecting this camera rig crane until I bring in the next track. Okay, so here we have the cine camera. That's I can also call these things different names so that they make more sense for us. These two are the crane together, and then I'm about to do the same thing I did with the other one. I'm going to go over here, add in the camera right here. And I can call this dolly camera if it makes more sense for me. Dolly camera. And of course that means it went somewhere else alphabetically. And we're going to scroll up, and then I'll do it to the rig right there. There's the one on the rails, and then I can zero it out, and it'll be right pinned where it needs to be at the very end. And I'll do the same, enable look at, and I will look at the actor in the scene.
So that's the version you're using. I'm not getting like the current camera settings.
I'm in 413.
Okay, I don't know if that would be a different version. I'll look into it later. So.
Over here in the modes, you're not seeing.
Yeah, I see. Like I dragged regular camera, the wrong one.
Yeah, so it has to be the cine camera right there. Yeah, the regular camera has a lot of settings too, and you can do a lot of things with it. And that's like kind of the legacy camera. The new one has a lot more adaptable like depth of field, and it's really nice. We're really trying to get into the cinematic area. So this dolly is here. I'm going to bring up the rails a little bit so it's above the ground. There we go. Very cool. And we're going to add both those guys, kind of right here where I ended my other one. So let's go both of these. Oh, they already added in. Done. Okay, cool. This is where we're going to start. But this is a pretty short track, right? Well, there's the next point. I can move it up, down, left, and right. I can rotate it around, and it's a spline. What happened to your voice? So I'm going to select. So this is just a Bezier spline, so it's interpolating through, making a smoother curve, so it's not choppy, which is probably ideal for doing a dolly move. Right, that's what they're going for. It's probably a lot easier to do digitally. If I go back to the final node, I think if I hit Alt, let's see. Oh, yep, that brings up the next node for me. So there we go. We've now extended this dolly track. It could go into the sky. We could do things that don't exist in the real world, or can. And then also rotation is a factor to make sure that it's kind of orienting the right way. Yeah, I mean totally. This is literally, they took the idea of Rails, Beyond Rails, and they like went with it. So this is enough for me for right now. I'm sure the Academy will thank me later for my work tonight. There we go. And if we go over to the rail, you see there's a current position. It literally just like kind of scrolls up and down. So you can keyframe just that. All right, so we're going to start, and we're going to start here after the other move is over with. We're going to go to the, you see there's a keyframe right here. We're going to add the keyframe to the current position, and then we will come back to our plugins and get rid of those. And then we'll come to the sequencer after the plugins. And then we'll see there's a keyframe now, and we're going to move it over. And because I have auto keyframe on, it should automatically keyframe. Let's just check and see if that is true. I think it did. Yeah. Position on track. There it is. If we go back here, I'm going to add this camera to the camera cuts. Dolly camera. So now we have I don't think my dolly camera is moving. 1 second, guys. Because I didn't move it. Let's go back to the beginning. Okay, so now we have the keyframe there. So we've now made 2 different camera moves to make our little sequence there. I mean, I used a cut. Sorry, I know we were trying to go for one long take, but let's just see if it works. It probably won't still. Yeah, so let's just take that, find that sequencer. It's because it's not actually in my level yet. Save. Sure, save this level. And I'm going to throw it into the world because it's a level sequencer that can be applied to every single level you make, and so it's reusable as an asset out in your content browser outside. And then I'm just going to go over here and I could say autoplay. You see it has a play rate, slow motion. You can adjust that. That could be keyframeable, and then I'm not looping. So this should work. I mean, you know, not bad for government work.
Can you do it from blueprints?
You can trigger all that stuff from blueprints. Everything is available for the code. So, oh yeah, so let's add in, I think I will just add in a couple of particle systems because everyone loves that. So quickly I can add a new content pack. I can get all that starter content, which adds a couple of flames and particles. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you how to do an event track, and that'll kind of like tie up the day. I'm going to go into the root, and I'm going to filter my particle systems. And we got steam. That's awesome. We have smoke, fire. We got all the guys. It's like Mo, Larry, Curly, all there. And I'm going to take these newfound friends, and I will turn them off. Therefore, I'm going to deactivate or unactivate them. They are not on. And now through Sequencer, I'm going to turn these on over the course of time. So you have show control built into Unreal. You don't have to use OSC should you not need to want live interpretive stuff. You can just make it always, great. And this works for VR experience as well. And then you can use this also to trigger OSC should you want to have some sort of interactive VR experience or something like that. It's truly awesome. So like we did with the other things, I will add a track. I can go to the very beginning. And this one's just an event track. All right. Let's just go a little bit in. And, well, you know what? Actually, I thought that was a little fast in the dolly. So let's make this a little bit longer. Let's have a little more fun. I can drag up these numbers and scroll in and out. And then this line is, this red line right here is the end. All right, this is, if I'm not looping, this will be the end scene. So we take this dolly thing, drag it out, and there we go. I actually wondered, is there crossfade built in? No. All right, cool. All right, and then I can also preview. Oh, I'm not previewing that right thing. Anyway. All right, so the event track. Let's go back to the beginning. And we'll do an event right here, keyframe. Add a new keyframe at current time. Right there. The properties, I have to give it a value. This is Bob. Wait, it's Mo. Mo. All right. Over here, we're going to have Larry. And at the very end, we will have Curly. Right click. I'm going to say no E on Curly, but I'm guessing there. All right. So to do something, these are now custom events. I have now given these a custom name, and I have to call them in my as events inside of my level blueprints because it's a level sequencer. We're actually done with sequencer. I'm going to just close and get on my way. Come over here, and we're going to open up a level blueprint. Actually, I'm going to select all three of those particle systems first so I can bring them in very quickly as a contextual reference. blueprints, level blueprints. All right. Right click. Well, it's not there, so I'll just drag them in. There we go. There are all these guys, and what are we going to do with them? We're going to activate them. Activate. There we go. We're going to do that a few times. So I can just Control W and Control W, and then hook these up. And then the last little bit is I'm going to add a custom event. So we have Mo, right click, add custom event, Larry, and I'm sure in the future these will autofill, but for right now you have to actually have other case sensitive. Yes, sir? Yes, sir? Well, Knight, that's a question. And Curly. All right. And as per usual with me, we're going to take bets on if this works or not. Anyone? Anyone? So far I'm 0 for like 5. Yeah. All right. Mike says no. All right. Let's see. Up. There we go. Cool. Cool. And then it ended where the player start was in the level. So that's got, it goes back to the default camera. You could do focus pools on this stuff. It's pretty darn cool. So we have this thing. I do want to quickly show you guys how to do multiple cameras, so you can start playing around with projectors. This kind of will just be a quick little demo. Also, I'm about to run out of juice on the old camera anyway. So, yeah, it has some large format stuff. It's pretty cool. So right now we're gonna get rid of this player start, and I'm going to add a camera. It really doesn't matter which camera. I'm just gonna use the regular camera for right now. And I want to be able to, when I hit play, it's where my camera is. It doesn't know. There's no player start, right? And this camera itself hasn't been designated as a camera to be used as like the player 0, the character. So I have to just go over here to the side and just say that it's auto activated as player 0. Okay. So now if I hit this, now it's using that as my camera. Okay. So as you might guess, if you want to do other cameras, you would allocate it to different players. So seems so simple now, but this took me a long time a year ago. So we have another camera looking 90 degrees one way, and then looking the other way. I was holding down Alt and duplicated it. Okay. And I don't have any movement on this. I'm not going to take time to hook up OSC, but if I wanted them to all follow the central camera, I just parent them just like we did the other stuff, and then they'll move around and rotate around with the center camera. Go to actor 2, the camera actor 2, make it player 1. This is indexed from 0. Here, indexed from 2. And then the secret is under play. Whoa. Under play, it's the number of players. Each one of these is a different player. I now have 3 players, and I want everything to be played in a new editor window. I now have 3, and each of these windows can be as large as 4K. So you can. There's so Mad Mapper is more about using our Blackmagic Intensity Extreme and streaming out. But that was only HD. You can stream out hardware, but this way you can have 4 outs from a computer, and then just put each one of these as different outs on the projector and line them up, and then just kind of like mathematics of it matches. Whatever the projector lens is the lens you use on the camera, and then the distance from the camera to the wall is the same distance as your projector to the wall, and then you actually are representing the space you're inside. on the walls and the space around you. So it's just math. It's like trigonometry, like some right angle math, and just literally using projectorcentral.com to research what the actual field of view is, and then matching those. And it's easy and real because we have unlimited amounts of sizes and field of views that we can do granularly through them. So that's pretty much it. And I'll catch up on some other stuff next week. We'll do a little bit longer demo, but this gets you. If you were worried about multiple outs, this is how it is, and this is how we're going to do it. All right, everyone. Good luck out there. If I had known